Hey, welcome back to another Mind the Mic podcast. I'm your host Shubz, here with a special guest in the building, Ashah Wini. What's good, sis? How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Just a little bit tired. We watched last
A little
night.
bit tired, eh? Mum life, working life.
Yeah, working. I work night shift, so pretty tired, but we're good. Ready to rock and roll.
Oh yeah.
hmm
You work night shift weekends, you said, eh? Or over the weekend
Weekends.
in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Start at 6 and
Yeah.
finish at 1:30 a.m. Go home at about 2:30.
Oh, true. So
Mm-hmm.
who watches the kids while you're out at work?
My
Or if
husband.
hubby's not here?
Oh, he's
So
not
good.
here. Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's home. So that's why I work weekends so that he can have the kids. It's too hard otherwise trying to get someone to look after them.
Oh, okay. Because hubby works 5 right?
He
Or was
used to.
he? Oh, he doesn't anymore. Okay.
This is the first year he hasn't in a long time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Solid. For anybody that doesn't know who you are, can you give us a little background on yourself and who you are, where you come from, what you do?
I'm Asha. I was born and raised on the Gold Coast. I am an emergency nurse. I just stumbled into social media like completely by accident. And then that's how people really know me, honestly, because I'm quite introverted. I don't go out, I don't put myself out there to meet people. But I don't know, there's something
Mm-hmm.
about social media that just gives you a little bit of confidence.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm married for 10 years this year. Maybe it's 9 years. We've been together for 10 years and we're married 9 years this year. And we have three children.
3 children. What's the ages? Can you put those out there or nah? It's all good if you
Yes.
don't
Yeah,
if you don't want
no,
to.
no, that's completely fine. My eldest is 16 this year. I had her when I was 16. And my middle child, she is 6, so 10-year age gap. And
Mm.
then our youngest is 3 years old. He's about to turn
Oh yeah.
4.
So you're what? Are you 91, 92?
92. So I'm 32. I
Ah,
just turned 32 on the 1st of May.
wow. There you go. Happy
Mhm.
birthday to you.
Thank you very
Hey,
much.
happy birth month. I don't know if you do that around there, but some people do.
Yep. Taurus
Yeah.
season.
Oh, it's our
Whole month.
season. Let's go.
Yep.
Te puru, hey? What's the
Yes.
background though? What's the flavor? Yeah, like what's the heritage? I guess you'd say.
Or ethnically.
Yeah, ethnically.
Ethnically. So I am Maori. My grandmother on my dad's side, my paternal grandmother is half Japanese. So I do have a little bit of
Oh yeah, I see a
Asian.
bit of ching there, sis. I see a bit of ching. This
Um,
guy up the ching.
I've sort of my eyes have gotten bigger though as I've gotten older. When I was younger, I did look
Oh
quite
yeah,
Asian.
I see. Yeah, they're definitely they're bigger, but you can tell there's like you got some flavor in there somewhere, sis. You can tell that
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
And then yeah, I've got Pacquiao.
Oh yeah.
My great grandmother, my maternal great grandmother is for English,
Yeah.
and then yeah, there's
What's
just like
maternal paternal? Al? What does that mean, bro? I got no idea.
oh, so maternal is from my mother, maternal is
Oh,
from my
okay,
mother, and paternal is my father.
from your dad.
Yeah,
Oh, there you go. Any amateurs there like me that didn't know that, there you go. I've
yeah,
heard it before. I just didn't know which one went where.
yeah,
Okay, there you go. Paternal, maternal, paternal. Holy Rick.
yeah. But
So, but what? So,
I'm
what do
quite.
you? I guess identify as Aussie.
So I
Aus.
identify as Australian. So I'm Australian, but I'm a Māori Australian. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
classify
Mozzie.
myself as a yeah. I don't classify myself as a New Zealander because I was born and raised in Australia, and
Mm.
I just don't identify as being a Kiwi, but I'm
So you
Australian
go
and Māori.
for the wallabies and the
Oh
kangaroos
no,
and
I don't watch any of that.
oh
So
nah.
I don't go for anyone. Honestly, I just go for my favorite athletes. Honestly,
Okay,
so
who are your
wherever
favorite
my
athletes?
Mm, so, well, I'm just very women orientated. So Simone Biles is an incredible
Oh, yep,
athlete.
whipping.
Um, who else have we got there? I don't know because I'm not really into watching sport. I prefer to participate in sport. So, like, I have a lot of respect and admiration for athletes, like Angel Reese in the WNBA, and then like Ronna Peters in the women's
You're the
NRL.
Ron Peters.
She's retired now. Charlotte Caslick, incredible Jillaroos
Whipping.
and Sevens player. So I don't necessarily follow many sports, but I do respect athletes.
Yeah, shouting out the lady athletes too. I see ya. That's
Yeah,
good. That's
absolutely.
good.
I actually don't.
Shout out to the
I don't
lady
actually.
athletes.
I actually don't even have any favorite male athletes, honestly, because again,
Mm.
I don't follow sport. I play sport, but I don't follow it.
What
But
sport
again,
do
I
you
have a
play?
lot of OzTag. I used to play a lot of touch, and then I found OzTag, and then I have not changed that sport. I was very eclectic. I played a lot of sport growing up: soccer, volleyball, netball, touch, and then I simultaneously played touch and OzTag throughout high school. So I've been playing OzTag now since I was 13, and I'm
Mm.
32. And I've
Yeah.
been with the same club ever since. I started at Labrador OzTag, and that's my club now.
Yeah. Shout
And it's
out the
been
same club.
forever.
What is it again? What's shout it out again? Sorry, you like glitched a bit.
the,
Well, on my end anyway.
the Labrador Rabbits.
Shout out the Labrador Rabbits, baby. This guy. Shout out the Labrador Rabbits. Big love from
Yeah,
Ashah Wini, not the Kiwi, not the New Zealander, but the
just me.
Australian. That's it. Let's go.
Absolutely. Just me.
That's it. Maori Australian, that is too. Hey.
Yeah.
Japanese. What else? English.
English.
Yeah.
Well, and
What about
yeah,
hubby? What is hubby?
he is just straight down the middle, Pākehā and Māori. But
Oh,
he, again,
is he
he's Australian.
born
He's the
here?
most, he was born here,
Oh, true.
and he's the most bogan Māori boy you'll meet.
Bogan? What do you mean bogan? Like actual
He's
Aussie bogan
Australian.
style?
Yeah, like, it's so hard to, it's so hard to explain what a bogan is. He's just an Australian. He's Aussie. But I
Yeah.
guess it depends on who you hang out with too. So like if he's around his Australian friends, he's full bogan. When he's around his like Māori friends, he's not as bogan. Does that make sense?
Mm. Yeah, no, definitely. Actually, let me
Mm.
just take this off because we really can see it. 2 6. Oh yeah. We already see it. Here we go. Yeah, that'll do. How did Jews meet? Tell us the love story. How does that
Oh,
happen?
yeah, see, I believe in fate,
Mm-hmm.
and everything happens in the time it's meant to happen. So
Okay.
we met playing OzTag at Balimba OzTag in Brisbane, and he was seeing some girl. I was not interested in having any relations with any males at that point in my life.
Oh, true. Were you
Um,
into females at the time?
not oh well, no, not particularly. I'm like I am bisexual, but
Oh
I
yeah.
just was not into. I was not looking for
Mm.
anything
Okay, you weren't
anyway.
bothered by anything. Yeah, yeah,
No,
sweet.
absolutely not. And then just like down that, I don't know, down the road, we ended up having a one night stand. We were already friends at
Yeah,
this
bit
point.
of a
So
young
I had a one night
pumpy.
stand. Yeah. And then I was seeing someone else. I wasn't seeing someone else. I was in like a situationship with somebody
Mm.
else, and it was just a bad time. And I said to him, "Look, I'm going to end up breaking your heart." And like it was really the case of you're too good for me. He is. He's like the
Oh.
loveliest person you'll ever meet. He's like that type of person who's friends with everyone. And everywhere you go, you get stopped every 5 seconds because he makes friends with absolutely everyone. And I was just such at a broken stage of my life. I knew, and I was honest about it. I said to him, I'm going to break your heart and I will destroy you if we end up in a relationship right now. So I just
Mm.
don't think it's a good idea. And then we remained friends for about 3 years. And then
Oh
I
wow.
don't know. Yeah, we were like
That's
really good friends. So he'd come over, he'd meet all my like situationships and all my fuck buddies, whatever. I'd come over and have dinner with us, and I would make him
holy
Cameron
Rick.
slice. Yeah, we used to
This is
like live.
crazy.
Yeah, so like we used to live like there's a road in Southport. It's called Ferry Road. I used to live
Mm-hmm.
at one end, and he used to live like halfway down it. So we were quite close, like living like in proximity. And then yeah, he used to come over like for dinner every afternoon, so he didn't have to cook. And I don't know what happened. One tournament, because we used to always share rooms at tournaments. Never used to do anything like cuddle here and there, but nothing extra. I was supposed to share
Oh,
with my
cuddle.
brother.
Not even a kiss on the
Yeah,
cuddle. Just cuddle.
just a little cuddle, just
Like
cuddles, just a
just to
little,
stay warm. Or
yeah,
like
just a cheeky little spoon, you know. Um,
oh, who was the big spoon?
Obviously him.
Oh,
He's
I
very
don't know.
like
Some
so
people,
funny.
some ladies be like, I want to be the big spoon. That's
Oh
weird.
no,
But anyway, okay.
he's a very large human. I'm 5'3" and he's 6'2". Um,
Mm-hmm.
and he was said to me yesterday. He was hugging me. He's like, "You're actually quite really tiny, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yeah, thanks," because he's quite large. But yeah, just with the room situations that one year, there was like one queen size bed, and because my brother and I were playing in the same team, we were like, oh, we'll just
Mm-hmm.
share the bed because like we're siblings, yeah, all good, just so other people don't have to. But my brother dislocated his shoulder that like a couple days before the tournament, and then the person he was rooming with, his wife went into preterm labor, and so he had to go pick her up from the hospital, and then he didn't have a room anymore. So I was like, okay, cool. My coach was like, do you mind if he stays with you? And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then yeah, just one thing led to another, and
Shout
then
out
that's
to the
how it
coach.
happened. And then yeah, I know we always say this. If it wasn't for you, and they're actually our best friends now. Him and his wife are our best friends now. But like he, after that tournament, he came and stayed at my house the next week, and he never left. He just slowly started to just go home, like, and he'd just deposit more of his things into my house,
My
and
man.
then he left, and he just
Yeah. What's
stayed.
what's hubby's name? Can we know his name or now we can't shout him out?
Cameron,
Shout
his
out
name's Cameron.
Cameron, Cuzzy. Shout out to that brother Cameron. Yeah, my
Yeah,
man.
we always joke
He
about
played the
that.
long game. The Cuzzy played the long game. The brother.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. He was very persistent, and this is our son, Iluka.
Shout out to the brother Luca. Sup, Cuzzy? That's fair. I like that. That's a cool story. I like this little love story you got there. 3 years
Yeah,
on the homies front, and then one little OzTag tournament turns into hey, you know,
turned into this. No, yeah,
yeah.
almost 10 years married.
Hi, Luca.
This is yeah, that's
But
Iluka.
so, do you have anything to do with the oldest dad? What's the go there?
Oh no,
We don't.
no. Okay, yeah. So, there was lots of domestic violence involved there. So we were
Oh,
together from when I was 15, and yeah, there was just a lot of violence, and I actually I've spoken about it a few times. If you go to my Instagram page,
yeah, yeah.
there is a highlights section that's labeled DV, and it's got my whole story there. If anyone's interested in looking at
Yeah.
it, it's quite complex.
That's
But
the
yeah,
only
there was
reason I
lots of.
brought it up, just because I seen that. So I just thought I
Oh
maybe might be
yeah,
able to want to talk about it a little bit.
absolutely. So yeah, I don't know, just a typical narcissist. They come across as being lovely, and they're everyone's favorite person, and it's very charismatic type of people. And you would literally, people had no idea what it was like behind closed doors. But
Oh,
it was great for a really long time. It was great, and then just one day it just changed, and it was like subtly too, just like, and like just tiny little things, and then it just progressed and got worse and worse. And I think like when you love someone, those little things that you didn't notice that were changing, like you just like push them to the side because like you love this person, so you just excuse those things. But then by the time I actually realized what was happening, we were right in the thick of like full on like abuse, like sexual abuse, physical, mental, financial abuse. Yeah, it was insane.
what do you mean
Actually,
financial? What was he doing? Like just taking your money and shit too?
oh yeah. So like he would take my bank card, and like we would have nothing. I wouldn't have nappies or formula for our baby. He'd spend it on
Oh
drugs. He'd
damn!
spend it on food for his friends. I used to like his mum would have to like I used to have to go to his mum's house to eat, and his mum would buy us nappies and stuff. And so yeah, it was quite an ordeal, and I was so young as well, so I didn't really know any better. But like you think that you would know better, but you don't, because you think that this is the love of your life, and that
Mm.
and I think at that age too, you don't have really good examples of what a relationship is like should look like. So I didn't know at all, and I just thought that this is just what you know is meant to happen. As naive as that sounds, I was very naive. I was 16 years old.
Yeah, you're young
um,
now. You're young. You know
yeah,
what I mean? You know, you got like I think people that hold me to who I was as a teenager is like stupid when I'm 32 now, cause like you know what I mean. So like I understand this. You wouldn't didn't know how to maneuver or how to be. But some people are bloody 40 and still can't. You know what I mean? Get out of those situations. So hey, it is what it is. Oh, step. I'm talking to myself out here. I don't know what happened. Hmm. Let me pause the recording and see if she comes back.
Yeah.
So you're talking about being 16 and not, not knowing sort of how to navigate that situation.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I didn't know any different. And when I I actually went down to my uncle's one weekend. Actually, I'll tell you the event that happened first. So
Hmm.
the last time that he like assaulted me, like he raped me, like then he
I'm
physically
sorry.
assaulted me. Yeah, like I don't mind talking about it now. It happened like so long ago. I'm 32 now. So
Yeah.
I don't mind talking about it just to spread awareness, because like at that stage of my life, I didn't know that what like that you could be raped while you were in a relationship. I just
Oh,
like I thought, yeah, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that like sex required consent at all times. I wasn't aware of that at
wow.
all.
True.
And so like even if I didn't want to, like he would hit me until I gave in. And so because I gave in, it wasn't rape in his eyes.
Yes.
I mean, it wasn't
Oh,
wasn't
but to you, it
yeah.
still wasn't because you were like, oh, whatever then. But like, you didn't want to do it anyway. So
No.
of course,
Yeah,
it was rape.
absolutely. I just wanted it to be over and done with. I'm just like, okay, then we'll get it over with.
Mm.
And like yeah, he would literally like he'd be like physically assaulting me while raping me. And like
What?
the last time I was assaulted, it was actually the night of one of our friends' funerals. And we were on our way home from like the wake, or like from the after, whatever it is, everyone's drinking and
Was it a
getting
tongue?
drunk at my cousin's house. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And we were on our way home, and he wanted to have sex in the taxi. And I was like, this is not right. Like, this is not okay. Like, it was embarrassing, obviously.
Mm.
Um, but like when you're in that type of situation, you don't like do things to try and aggravate them. You try and do things that are going to like just appease them.
Mm.
So you're not like gonna just straight out say no, like don't do that, don't touch me, because once you get home, like it will just be worse. So you just try and stay quiet and be meek and like yeah. And so like he was assaulting me in the car, in the taxi, and then when we got home, yeah, like I couldn't say no. It was just like a nonstop for hours, and like I couldn't walk the next day. I was in so much pain, like it hurt to go to the toilet, like to urinate, all of that. It's quite detailed. Like in the court document, when the judge was reading all of this, they're just like gobsmacked, like about like just what people actually do to women. Um, but that was the last incident. And just incidentally, the following weekend, I went to stay with my uncle, who was a
Hmm.
pastor.
Okay.
Um, and like, you just know when things aren't right with people, especially like Eunice, that you've known their whole life. But he was really subtle about the way that he would introduce like conversations and stuff. He would more just talk about him and his life, and like try and get the point across that way without bringing up the conversation directly. And like being with him and his
Okay.
wife
Yeah.
for a week, and seeing their dynamic in their marriage, like they would wake up at 5 o'clock every morning. She would make him breakfast. They would pray together, um, and they would have that one-on-one time before their children wake up in the morning. And I'm like, they don't
Yep.
actually. I'm like, they'd have disagreements, but they would. It was never physical. They would never yell at each other. It was always a conversation. And I'm like, that just like after seeing that every day for like a week, I was like, shit, like this is actually wrong. My situation, that's like I had a massive like epiphany. I was like, this is wrong for me. And when I got home, I was like, I would rather be dead. I than live through this, because he had threatened me multiple times, like if you leave me, I'll kill you. If you tell anyone, I'll kill you, etc., etc.
Really?
Um,
Where's this
yeah.
scumbag? Where's he at
Oh
these days?
well, he did go to jail for a few things multiple
Mm.
times. He doesn't live too far away from us, actually. He only
But he has
lives
nothing
over
to
in the
do
next
with
suburb,
with your fellow's
but we never see him.
child, or oh, okay.
No, no, because so all of that happened. I did.
Mm.
I've always had the mindset of like, what you did to me was to me. I won't let that affect the relationship that you've got with, you know, she's my child now. I don't classify her as our child, but back then she was our child, if that makes sense to anybody.
Yep.
So I gave him every opportunity to be a parent. The last, after we separated, like I brought up the conversation of mediation and, you know, just parenting, like custody and all that. And he just went absolutely psycho. Like he tried to, like, he grabbed her, tried to run away with her. He was like holding on to her, like under his arm. She's only like 2 at the stage. She's holding her like this under his arm while he's punching, me at the same time. And from there, that's when like the DVO was put in place, and he was, the only way he was allowed to have contact with her was supervised contact with
Supervised
his parents,
by.
with his
Oh, okay.
parents, and otherwise not at all. And the only way he was able to get unsupervised contact was if he did a parenting course through the Department of Child Safety, which he failed twice. And so we had just a
What a
parenting.
fucking dickhead.
Yeah, absolutely. We had we had this parenting plan in order. He was allowed to talk to her between certain times, which he didn't do. He was allowed to see her on certain days between certain times, which he did for the first like portion of like, I know, the first few months. And then we moved to Western Australia for a couple of months, and when we moved back, like from then on for the next like 5 years, it was just very inconsistent. Then it made her really upset. And I said, well, like, if you cannot be consistent, like, I don't want you upsetting her. Like, call her every day, or don't call her at all. Don't tell her you're going to do something, then don't do it. And then he was still having contact with her until last year, maybe the year before, when we cut all contact with him because he threatened to kill me. So yeah, we just cut all contact with him whatsoever. And because now she was over the age of 12, she's allowed to make that decision for herself, whether or not she wants to see him or not. And now she's got zero contact with him.
Oh, well, that's his own fault.
But I will say we have a really good relationship with the mother of his other children.
Okay. So she gets to meet her siblings, talk to her siblings and that, huh?
Yeah. So she sees them every Wednesday, or like whenever. She's allowed to see them whenever she wants. She just works and she's busy because she has extracurricular activities during the week. So Wednesday is her only day that she's really able to see them. But yeah, they come here, have dinner with us. We do special occasions with them. They sleep over on her birthday. They came over for my birthday a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, it's a really great relationship with them. She's really great with my eldest. So yeah, we're really lucky to have her.
Yeah, that's cool. No, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. No, fucking, I mean, not what happened, but the way you've been able to navigate it all. I think props to you, sis. Props to you and your support network you have, and even to your daughter, who's a young lady now, making that decision herself.
Absolutely, yeah. She's like, and she's really smart as well, and she's not easily manipulated. So, yeah, I was really proud of her for making that choice for herself. She just doesn't want to like. She just likes cruising through life on a vibe. She doesn't want anything to try and dampen that. So, yeah, she made that choice.
So besides obviously hooking up with that kid, but obviously you got a big blessing from it, the youngin you have. What was life like growing up for Ashah Wini? Growing up, what was life like?
Oh, so yeah. Look, I think I wrote on my Instagram a couple weeks ago. Like I've been through a few traumas in my life.
Yes.
So my parents, they had a really volatile relationship. There was no like physical violence or anything, but they used to just fight all the time, like without getting into it too much because like that's their business to share. But like when I think I was 4, this isn't like, if people are listening to this, like my dad's a really good person and he did this for a reason. Like again, I won't get into the details of it, but my dad took us, so there's 4 of us, and he took us all back to New Zealand without my mum knowing one weekend. And yeah, I didn't see my mum for a couple months after that. But that was traumatic in itself because I didn't understand. I was like, why are we going? Why are we like, where's my mum? Like, why aren't we going with mum? Um, and yeah, he took us back to New Zealand, and it was difficult for me being over there as well because like we were Australian, we had Australian accents. We looked Asian, but then again, like all of my dad's family and their kids, most of them look Asian, so we all look the same, but you still get teased. So it was
Yeah.
quite difficult going back there. And then yeah, we used to get teased for having an Australian accent, and two for being like Chinese. And then while we were there, in that time, my grandfather was killed by a dog. My quarter was killed by his dog, his pit bull.
Huh?
Yeah.
Wait. Oh.
So he took one morning he went out to get watercress down from the creek,
Yeah.
and he never came back. And I was asleep with my dad and my siblings, and my uncle knocked on the bedroom door, was like, "Hey, we've got to go look for the old man. He hasn't come back yet." And yeah, they found him mauled by his pit bull, and the pit bull had killed their other dog as well. He just turned on him. They don't know what happened, whether the dogs got into a fight and he was trying to break up the fight, or don't know. But yeah, he was.
Oh well. Well, it was just dead in the creek or down by the creek.
No, just by the tree. You could see the tree. You can see the tree from the back of the house, actually, because like where that house is, like, so my family's from Te Puke, and it's like a
Oh,
farming town.
TPT.
Yeah.
Te
And
Puke
so
Thunder.
where the house is, it's just yeah, yeah, not that type of farming though, dairy farming. So it was just like yeah. so the back like batch was on the side of a hill, and it's just like kilometers of cow paddocks. And you could see the tree, but it was so dark at night, you couldn't see anything from the back of the house. And yeah, that's unfortunately they found him. I don't know the details of it. All I remember is the gunshots of them shooting the dog. So yeah, it was quite scary, all that. And then that's how my mum found us. My mum found out where we were because it was in the news. And my
Oh,
baby brother,
true.
yeah, my
So
baby brother was
they would have made it to Aussie too, eh? The news.
yeah, it was on the news in Australia and New Zealand. It was in the papers and in magazines, and yeah, there was a photo of my little brother in the paper, and that's how she found us. And then yeah, he came back, and
Wow. How many siblings do you have?
so there's four of us. I have two brothers. So my sister is the oldest. I think she's 38. And then my older brother is 34. I'm 32. And then my little brother is 30 in a couple of weeks. Yeah, at that time I was 4. My older brother was 6. My older brother was 2. And then yeah, how old my sister was. I think she's 6 years older than me.
Wow.
Then yeah, like we moved back. My mum took me back to Australia. It was just strange because like I've gone from having this life of my mum, my dad, and all of my siblings, and then we've been taken to New Zealand, and then only I've gone back with my mum. And so I've gone from living in a house with all my siblings to being like alone, which is quite difficult. And so yeah, then a couple of years later, I don't even know if it was that year, maybe a couple of years later. I don't know the timeline. I was only 4 or 5. Like I was 5 by the time I come back to New Zealand, Australia. And then yeah, by that time my sister came back, and then a few years later my other siblings and my dad moved back. And then yeah, we used to see them here and there. And then we didn't really have a relationship. Like we were always close. We were always really close. It was just confusing. And then yeah, once we were in high school, that's when like our relationship started to stabilize, because we had choice then to where we wanted to go and where we wanted to stay. And so I got to see them a lot more. And then I ended up going to high school with my brothers, which was a good experience for me. And now we're really close,
Yeah.
all of us.
Ah, solid. And you both your parents are in Oz still, or
Sorry.
both your parents are in Oz, or?
Yeah, no. So my dad moved back to Te Puke throughout the pandemic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then my mother and my stepfather, they live in Gladstone, which is a
Oh,
couple hours.
Glasgow. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Central Queensland, eh? Somewhere like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Up those ways. Uh,
Yeah.
so your mum though, is she Aussie? I'm confused, or is she from New
No,
Zealand?
she's Māori. She's Māori, but she's
Oh, she's Maori too, but her mum English
her
or something.
mum's half. Her mum is half Māori, half English.
Oh, solid.
Hmm.
Oh,
But my mum was raised very Pākehā,
mm.
in comparison to my dad. Um, so yeah, we were brought up. We were predominantly brought up with my mum's family.
Oh,
So
okay,
I think my little brother is really cultured. In all honesty.
yeah. Are you proud to be Maori though? Like,
Oh,
even
absolutely.
the Aussie, yeah,
Absolutely. So I've got like a really deep connection like to my heritage, and like I've always felt a deep connection to the land.
yeah,
Um, hang on, son. Um, so yeah, I'm incredibly proud to be Māori. I'm like, it's no fault to my parents though. For they can't teach what they don't know. So at that
yes.
time when they were growing up, their parents grew up in the time where they weren't allowed to know their culture.
We're beaten.
Um, yeah, it
Beaten
was.
for speaking the language, and
Yeah,
yeah, I've
exactly.
had these conversations with a lot of Aussies,
Mhm.
or people who understand, I guess, the plight of the indigenous here in Australia. A lot of people didn't
Mhm.
realize we had a lot of similar things in way of getting rid of our culture or trying to eradicate our culture, and in our
Yeah,
language.
right.
People don't know that, like, our grandparents couldn't speak it; they were beaten.
Yeah,
It's crazy, eh? Crazy. It's cool
yeah.
the
So I think like,
resurgence that's happened like in the last like an hour, because I was like we were like the first generation of like kohanga kids, like all our
mm,
cousins. So like if you grew up back home, you would have been on the same buzz.
yeah.
You know.
I mean, I went to Paul for a little bit while I was there.
Oh yeah,
That's
solid.
about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
only for a couple months. Only for the couple months I was there.
Did you remember
Um,
that? Did you
I
remember
remember
that
going to
whole
Paul.
time? Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, most of it. Yeah, and like from then, like I developed like like thinking back now, looking back now, that's where all of my anxiety and separation anxiety
Okay.
stems from, just from all of that, that whole ordeal. But yeah, I remember a good chunk of it. They're like my earliest memories because
Yeah. It's
like
pretty
you
ugly
don't,
early memories too, eh? Or like cool, but
yeah.
you're missing your mother,
Mhm. Oh,
sort of taken
absolutely.
from your mother. So
Yeah,
were they
like
together before that, or then like obviously, and
they
then
were
and then you?
together.
Oh,
It was
okay.
just a very volatile, and like
Yeah.
there are reasons behind it, and I don't blame my dad
Yeah. No.
at
No. No.
all.
All good. Yeah.
Like my dad, like looking like from an outsider looking in on that situation, you'd think that like, oh, my dad's evil, like how dare you
Oh, I don't know.
alienate my mother, etc. But like there's reasons, and
Hmm.
like I don't fault my dad for that at all.
Yeah. What's your old man's name? Shout out to your old man. I'm guessing his last name Winnie. I know that must be your old
No,
man, eh? My bad.
Dinsdale. So his last name,
Dinsdale.
he Dinsdale. Yeah, his name's
Oh, Cheddar
Max. I don't know
Dinsdale.
why. I don't know what it
Max.
is with this. No, so
Cheddar
his name's
Max.
Mark. His
Oh,
name's
Mark.
his. So his no his legal name is Max, but
Hmm.
I don't know why. He's called Mark. I don't know what it is with that generation, but like all of my brothers, all my uncles, they go by different names than what their actual
Yeah.
name is.
No, that was the old schools now. They all had different names, like and not even their real names, or they'd have friends for like 20, 30 years and they never knew their real name. Yeah, I know some
Yeah,
people like uncles and that
absolutely.
like that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So yeah, my dad's here at the moment. He's in Gladstone at the moment with my brother. But no, he's a great person. My mum's like been through things, and she's also like a great person, and like everyone goes through things. But like I said,
Shut
like
up,
in
bro.
regards to like they can't teach what they don't know. So and we grew up in Australia, so we grew up in like a very culturally diverse like area. There's just
But different the Goldie from Tipuke.
oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, very different. But in saying that, like if you look at Tapuki, like not just Tapuki, but like just the Bay of Plenty in general, like it's catching up to the Gold Coast. I actually the Mount is a lot like the Gold Coast, honestly.
Yeah, it is. Well,
Up a lot.
a lot
It's a
of
lot like down here.
part of my family come from there, or come from Motiti Island, just off the mount there.
Hmm.
So the
So
part of the
it's
line.
modernizing a lot.
Yeah. I think too, New Zealand in a lot of ways is like as a testing station for a lot of the world, because it's such a small country, but a lot of technologies and stuff like that. Yeah, and systems get tested in New Zealand, so in that way, yeah, different. But I just more was talking about Te Puke itself compared to Goldie, bit different.
Oh yeah, no, it's a fun time, and we dress so differently as well. So, like I said, like when we would go back there, you get teased for what you were wearing, because like
Yeah.
we've come from here. We would wear Nike Cortezes were the thing back then. So we'd be wearing Nikes, and like we would just consider them normal clothes, but like they were considered like flash clothes, and
Yeah, there's
but it wasn't. They were
Flash.
just like they're like bloody like Target clothes. Like they're just clothes from Target, and we're just wearing like just normal sneakers, or what we thought were just normal sneakers.
Mm.
But yeah, you get teased a lot for what you're wearing, how you spoke, what you looked like, and yeah, very different.
Yeah, very different.
Very different.
What kind of music were you? What kind of jams did you listen to growing up? What kind of music? What was the music? What's the playlist like?
Oh, Napster. So lots of Janet Jackson and Chris Brown, obviously, when that came out when I was in my teens. I
Did you
was
say Janet
super
Jackson? Is that like mum jamming there or?
No, oh like no, like so that's the like oh sorry. Can you hear me? That was
Yep.
like the era of like All For You, the song All For You. And
Oh, okay.
when she was like collaborating with Nelly.
Yeah, all those people.
Yeah. That was like my jams back then.
That's your
Just a
jams.
lot of yeah, lots of African American R&B.
Mm. Like how good was like Chris Brown, especially that OG album, eh? That was the song.
I know, yeah. That was the best.
Wow.
Very
What's
nostalgic
your
looking
favorite
back.
track off that album?
Oh, I was listening to it the other day. What's it called?
Probably not Young Love, eh? Because that didn't turn out too good. No, just checking.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't even think of it now, but my husband and I play it all the time. You know when people ask you a question and you just can't think, and it's like right on the tip of your tongue. I can't even think
And
of it.
that's annoying though, eh?
I know.
That's annoying when you like know you should be like able to. But yeah, I get you.
No, yeah.
But I
No
just think
idea.
the album was so cool. So it's like classic. No, that's 20 years ago nearly. That album.
I know. Absolutely.
Crazy.
So long ago, man. So long ago.
But because he was only like 16 too at the time, eh? He was like when
Yeah, he
all
was
that stuff
so
came
young.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Lots
turned
of
16 and I got Chris Brown.
That's right.
Is he your favorite artist of all time, or if someone asked you, or no?
No, definitely not. Like I don't have favorites. So because I've got ADHD, I just don't have favorite anything. I just like I just what I like in that moment. So like R&B wise, it would be Miguel. I just his voice. I like the way he composes his songs, like the track, the melody, tempo, and I love his ad libs, like how he just like listen to one of his songs, like Banana Clip, and he just like does random ad libs, like he just like will scream or something, and it's just funny. But no, yeah, the way that he presents his music is great. But now that I'm older, I actually am just like really into the lyrics of songs, so I'm just jamming a lot of Taylor Swift because I feel like I can relate. She's a storyteller.
Oh, are you a late Swiftie? Yeah?
I've always liked Taylor Swift. I've always liked her growing up. But I've only just found like a deep appreciation for her music now because of the lyrics.
Her as a songwriter.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like yeah.
I only just started thinking she was alright from Travis Kelce because I'm big NFL fan. I just
well, there's a lot of NFL. There's a lot of NFL fans now. A lot of NFL girlies now because of Taylor Swift. But no, I just it just depends on what mood I'm in. Like I love Kiana Lede.
Ooh, what's that? I don't even know that one. Who's that? What's she sing?
Look her up, Kiana Lede. She her last name is spelled Lede, and she's just got the most beautiful voice. Who else do we like? Who else have I got on my playlist at the moment? I don't know. I don't even think. Yeah, she's great.
ADHD. What's that? Sus? Can you explain? Because I hear it like thrown around a lot. I get ADHD. Well, what is it?
So
keeps people tell me I got it too, but I never been diagnosed, so I don't know.
Yeah, so ADHD itself stands for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and it used to be separated in like as ADD or ADHD, but now it's classified as a spectrum disorder. And most like psychiatrists or like psychologists and neurologists, brain people, they consider it as a dopamine deficit disorder because you lack adequate dopamine. So dopamine is your pleasure hormone and your reward hormone. So when you do things that are satisfying, you get dopamine. So like what's an example? Like when you go out and party and you're with like heaps of people and you're partying and you're dancing, that it releases a lot of dopamine for people. But just like on a normal day-to-day basis, dopamine is necessary for motivation. So when you don't have any dopamine, it makes it really difficult to complete simple tasks. Such as like going to the you pretty much overthink everything. So just going for a shower, for example. Me personally, I would think about every single step it takes to go and have a shower. Like I've got to go this and get this. I've got to wash my face. It's going to take me this much time. It's going to take me this much time to wash my hair. Then I've got to shave my legs. So it's going to take this much time. It's going to like all these minutes combined is going to, take X, Y, Z time. For the regular person though, they would just feel like, I need to go for a shower. I'm going to go get in the shower. And they can do that task. So someone without ADHD, they can think about a task they need to do, and then they can go and do it. Person with ADHD, it usually takes them a really long time to do that task if they do it at all, because they lack the dopamine to be able to do that. It's a little bit more complex than what everyone thinks it is, because growing up, you would think what people know as ADHD is hyperactivity. So it was only studied in males, and that's why there is just a lot of women now being diagnosed with it, because the symptoms differ in males as it does in boys typically. However, boys can have the same symptoms as women. So girls
how does
are
it
typically
differ?
more.
Okay, you got us.
Yeah, that's all good. So girls are typically internally hyperactive, whereas boys are externally hyperactive. But it doesn't mean to say that each, like you can't be one of, like you have to be one of each. You can have a combination of both, or you can be inattentive or hyperactive. So, like for example, like my husband's got ADHD, and so you at school, it's those kids that are like those boys that are bouncing off the walls and they're distracting and they're the class clown and they do things to make people laugh and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's what your typical like ADHD boy would look like. Whereas like a girl at that age would be like reading a book and she'd read like one sentence and then forget what she read and it doesn't make sense to her. So she'd go back to the beginning, she'd read it and she'd be like, what is that? What did I just read? That doesn't make any sense. There's a lot of different ways that it does present. There's not just one way. There's not just one way that it doesn't just look one certain way. So I didn't realize that I had ADHD until my husband and I were going through a rough time and we went to marriage counseling.
Oh shit! You recommend? Do you recommend marriage counseling to people?
I do. It was help for us at that stage of our life. So I do recommend it. You've just got to find a good counselor or a good therapist that is non-biased and is good to both of you, I guess. But she's actually the one that brought it up and asked me if I thought that I could have ADHD because all of the
really?
All of the problems that my husband was having with me personally were ADHD symptoms. So just like my lack of motivation and like how untidy I was and how I would cut in. Like that's one of my worst things to do is like I talk over the top of him or you've gone.
Oh no.
You're back.
Good? We good? Oh, I'm back. Okay.
Yeah. You're back.
All right, I'm back.
So like I would talk over the top of him. Yeah, it's like one of the worst things I do is like I talk over the top of him or I don't let him finish a sentence or I finish a sentence for him. Like again, we've both got ADHD.
I'm really bad at that, cuz.
Yeah.
I'm really
bad.
We've
like I said, like we've both got ADHD, but we've got different symptoms. And so like we're going to see this for a few weeks and she's like, do you think that you could have ADHD? She's like, because I think that you may like 99% have ADHD because all of these things that you're expressing, they're actually symptoms. And then she's like, I think you should go and see a psychiatrist and get diagnosed. And if you like, if anyone who knows anything about ADHD has been diagnosed, it's actually quite a lengthy process, and it can be a lengthy process. It took me a long time because I'm a serial procrastinator, which is another symptom of ADHD. I was like, yeah, sure. Went to the doctors like literally that same week, got a referral, and then I just forgot about it. And a year had passed, and she's like, have you been to see the psychiatrist yet? And I was like, oh no, I have not. And so yeah, I went back and I got a referral, and I made a appointment straight away. And then you've got to wait a few months because there's a big waiting list in Australia to see a psych. I think it's the same everywhere, actually. Even in New Zealand, there's a big waiting list. And he diagnosed me in like the first half-hour appointment with ADHD, because he said at the beginning, he's like, so usually it can be quite a lengthy process. Like I see you in multiple sessions. It can't. Sometimes it's not very obvious, and then in others it's incredibly obvious whether or not you've got it, like have ADHD or not. And then yeah, they go through an assessment with you. They ask you a series of questions in different types of settings of your life, and at the end he's like, yeah, I definitely think you have ADHD. And yeah, that's how I got diagnosed. It's so funny. I was like, oh, I've like,
Hey,
yeah. And it's funny because like
wow.
the questions are like, have you struggled? Like, how did you go with your education? Like in primary school, did you struggle in high school, or how did you find when you went to university? And it's like social things like
Did you go to
anxiety.
university, sis?
So I did. So I'm back at university now that I'm medicated. So
Oh
I
yeah, yeah.
endorsed some, and then I decided my registered nursing straight out
Oh
like
yeah, of
after I
course
finished
you'd
my
have to
diploma.
for that. Yeah.
Yeah. But then I got bored, and then I was like, this is so boring. Why am I doing this? And then yeah, well, that's what happens. You lose motivation. I got HDs, solid HDs throughout my whole like second year, and then it got to the summer break, and you've got like 10 to 12 weeks off, and like I went to go back, and I was like, this is so fucking boring. Like I lost all motivation. Then I was like, I dropped out. Or I deferred, actually. I deferred. And then I was like, I wanted to study something, but didn't know what. So I picked up myotherapy, which is muscle therapy. It's much like physiotherapy, but more, it's a bit different. And then I picked up that, same thing again, high distinctions the whole first year. I got a letter from the dean for like academic excellence. Went through summer period, and then I went back to uni. I was like, this is really fucking boring. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm spending a lot of money on this. And then, yeah, I just went back to university because my hospital paid for most of it. And so I've got like, that's the motivation. Like, I'm too scared to not finish it now because it would look bad at work. And now I'm back at university, and that's an ordeal all in itself.
Yeah, up
But
to
it's a
uni.
lot easier now that I'm medicated.
Yeah. Oh, so you advocate for being medicated if you have ADHD, or each to their own?
Um,
What do you
I
think?
think it's a personal thing. I think you should do your own research, and then like just depending, there's all different types of medications for ADHD. I'm on a stimulant medication, dexamphetamine, well, the long acting was dexamphetamine, which is known as Vyvanse. And it has made like, it's made such a difference to my life. Like I can sleep at night because I'm not overthinking about every possible way that myself or my family could die. Like I'm not worried about whether or not I've switched the like certain thing off, or if I've turned things on for like I can just think about doing something and then I can do it, as opposed to before I would think about doing something and then I just would not do it. There's also like times, and it's called ADHD paralysis, and I thought I was depressed because some days I just couldn't get out of bed. And that's another symptom of ADHD because I had like little dopamine. So yeah, I can get up every day and I can function to a normal capacity. So I advocate for it in the sense that it's been life-changing for me. And there's also a lot of research on it. There's a lot of studies. A study was released in Sweden last year, and it was a study that had compiled data over numerous years, and there was 160,000 participants. And conclusively, they found that you're more likely to die unmedicated from accidental causes with ADHD than not. And the gap was quite substantial. So yeah, it's just from like not having, and that's either by suicide or accident. So like not being focused and dying in a car accident or accidentally. That one of the things was accidental poisoning. Like there was enough people that accidentally poisoned themselves that it was a part of the statistic.
Yeah.
and then yeah, otherwise it was accidental death. Like yeah, just not being focused. So
Mm.
yeah, I think the data's there. There's a lot of people who say that it's like, well, it's dexamphetamine. So they hear the word amphetamine and they're like, oh, you're just on legal drugs. But I mean, any controlled substance is a legal form of
Well,
drug.
they're all drugs. Yeah.
But
They're all
there's a
legal
lot
drugs.
of there's a like again, you've got to do your own research instead of just like listening and seeing what you
Yeah.
see on social media with about like from people who have no scientific or medical background. Like you can't take your information from those people. You have to speak to an expert or you have to read studies from experts to understand it. But
You probably have
dexamphetamine
to
and
just try it
amphetamine,
too for yourself. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
experts or not, at the end of the day, it's your, not your disorder or whatever the fuck. Like, if you want to manage it, like, and this could aid you in that management or help you achieve what you want to do, you probably just have to do it, figure it out yourself too, on top of
yeah,
all the research. Because, like, you could
absolutely.
try, like, what works for you might not be good for some. Like, someone might try and be like, fuck, I don't really like that. I'm just going to go back
Yeah,
to how I did things before.
absolutely. Like one of my friends has ADHD as well, and she
Hmm.
tried the same drugs that was on, and it didn't work for her. Like in the sense that she was no more focused with it than without it. So she's
But you gave it a
on a
crack at least.
combination of
At least you
yeah,
gave it a
she tried
crack.
it,
Mm.
and she's on a combination of non-stimulants now, and drugs that were produced not for ADHD, but they do work for people with ADHD.
Okay.
And so she's on that, and it works really well for her. So it's just like a trial and error. You just got to figure out what works for you, and don't judge people that do something different than you. Like there's so many
Oh
people
yeah.
that you see heaps of people like, oh, I would never do that to my body. Like I hear it all the time. I would never put those types of medications into my body. And it's like, well, that's good for you. Don't do it if you
Mm.
don't like it.
Mm.
It's all good.
Yeah, no,
Like
fair enough. At
yeah,
least you're
absolutely,
speaking from experience as someone that it works for you. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Oh,
absolutely. And
yeah.
like, there's nothing to say that it could stop working for me one day, and then I would have to try something else. Like, there's no
Mm.
cure for ADHD. It's just learning to manage the symptoms. And
I
that's
think
about it. That's
all
what you can
human
do.
beings should reserve the right to be able to change their opinion with new information or as
Yeah,
situations change. Like 100%.
absolutely,
I like
absolutely.
that. I like that, Garo. Good
But that's
idea.
that's that's exactly like that's what every human being should do. But most people have too much pride to be able to do that. It's like, well,
Boy, literally
yeah,
the way that's a big one too. It's like even people will say to me like, "You said this 2 years ago." I was like, "Fucking 2 years ago, I was
yeah,
wrong." Well, I thought I was right at the time. I'm
absolutely,
wrong, bro. I know that now. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Like you went off the information that you were
And
presented
at
at
the
that point
time,
in time, and you
yeah,
believe that, and that's the point that you stood by. And now,
yeah.
yeah, you were mad enough to be like, hey, like I was wrong then, and I've been presented with new and different information, and that actually makes more sense to me now than it did back then. So
Yeah, I think
it's like
we should all be
maturity.
able to do that, man. Like, fuck, I've been so wrong about
Absolutely.
heaps of shit heaps of times over my life. But
Same.
like, if I just stay on that position now and like hold it, I'm just being an idiot, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's been like you said, pride, all that kind of stuff. I think it's also just stupidity. Like, especially if you know you're wrong and then you don't want
Yeah.
to change that position. Like, what are you up
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
cuz? Because yeah, I've been
It's
wrong
what
heaps
we
of
want.
times. Like, I was probably wrong last week, and in a year's time, I'll figure that out.
Yeah.
You know?
But that comes with
Yeah.
maturity, though. Like as you get older, and then you learn more. You know. You just don't stop
No,
giving a fuck about
hopefully,
certain things. You're like, you know what? That was not right of me. I was wrong.
hopefully we learn more because some
Hopefully,
people
some people
out
don't.
there think they know everything. Yeah,
Absolutely.
you know.
Some people don't.
Yeah. When did the whole social media space start for you? When the like the when all this? What was the like? What when did you start
The
getting like a
catalyst.
few clicks on the? Yeah, I guess yeah. What was the catalyst for it? And then when did you start getting a few clicks on the pages and all that kind of stuff? When did that start happening?
So
'Cause-
okay. So I have like a little blog about like infertility and stuff and
Oh,
just like my journey and all that kind of stuff. And
Infertility.
then yeah, because my husband and I that's why there's such a big gap. We would have liked to have children a little bit earlier in our relationship. Well, we were together for about 4 years, I think, when we had Nalani.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we did IVF with her because I have endometriosis, and like I lacked
What is
certain
that
hormones.
for any brothers out there that don't know, or maybe even sisters? If you could give
Yeah,
us a quick
so
synopsis on endometriosis.
yeah, sweet. So in the lining of your uterus, the inside of your uterus is called the endometrium, and endometriosis is a disease where that lining grows in other places other than the inside of your uterus. So
Oh,
like for me, it was around my fallopian tubes and my ovaries and adhering to my bowel. But you can also get it in other areas of your body. So because I'm a nurse in emergency, like had this patient who would always come in with collapsed lungs, and it was from her endometriosis. When they went in and
shit.
did a
True.
biopsy, when they found endometriosis in her lungs. It can also be present in the heart as well. So yeah,
Oh,
you
so
can
you
get
can
it
have a heart
anywhere in
attack
your
too
body.
from
So well, I mean,
endometriosis.
it could cause that, yeah, eventually. But I
Fucking
mean,
no.
that's not to say every single person with endometriosis has like cells in those parts of their bodies. For the like most part, it's usually contained around the lower portion of your belly. But yeah, it can
Was
be found.
there a known cause for this or no?
I don't believe so. I'm not actually 100% sure. But yeah, no, I'm not sure. I don't know.
Oh, okay. And so
think it, I
what's
don't know if
the
it's
what happens? What are
genetics
the
or
what happens like
family.
to you? Like
So
getting
you usually get really severe pain
okay.
throughout at certain points of your cycle. For me, it was at ovulation. Um, I would get like it would feel like someone was stabbing me up my like bum hole every time like I would
Oh,
go through ovulation,
not a
or
good
like I'd
one
be
too, Asus. Not a good
no,
stabbing of the bumhole.
or like I'd feel like I was like yeah
Not the very Cameron
no.
either.
But I mean, like, is it ever a good one if you're being stabbed up there? No, I don't
Oh, yeah, no,
know.
no, no. Oh, each to their
God.
own, did it? Not for the sis.
Yeah, yeah. So like you'd have like irregular periods or like really heavy periods, and then like pain during sex, like that's another symptom.
Okay.
And infertility is another symptom as well. And so yeah, I only found out that I had endo because we've been trying to conceive for a couple of years, and we'd done other like forms of assisted fertility, like the medications and all that. And my fertility specialist was like we've gotten to the point now where this hasn't worked. So I actually did a test. I did this test where they flush out your uterus and your fallopian tubes with this dye, and I can't remember what the name is called for it, but it's like an imaging test. And
Mhm.
usually after that imaging, you'll get pregnant within a few months, but like it's not like definitive that you would, but um just going off statistics, people are likely to get pregnant after it. I didn't get pregnant, so he's like, I'm because it hasn't worked and nothing else has worked. I'm going to go in and have a look and like do a surgery. It's called a laparoscopy,
Yep.
just have a look around and see what's going on. And then when I woke up, he's like,
Laparoscopy.
yeah, you've
That's
got
good.
like adhesions. Yeah, he's like, yeah, you've got
Oh,
you have these are all of your adhesions, and they take photos while they're in there, and they show you when you wake
yep.
up. And yeah, it looks like a big spider's web, like cobwebs all
Wow.
throughout my my pelvic cavity. And
That's
yeah,
what
then
the
after
cobwebs
that,
really do.
he's like,
Yeah. Holy Rick.
yeah, I know. And so my tubes were actually really floppy and they went patent. So
Yep.
after the surgery, he said, look, if you don't get pregnant in the next 2 months, then you will not get pregnant without IVF. So yeah, after that didn't work and we didn't get pregnant that way, we went to IVF. Then we had a baby that
Hey.
way. We had a little frozen petri dish baby.
You're the petri dish, baby.
Mm,
Yeah. How long? So
yeah.
how long did it take through IVF, sis? How long did
So
that take?
we
How long
tried
was it journey?
so when we started IVF, we got pregnant the first transfer.
Okay.
But when you do IVF, the medications, because essentially you only release one egg usually from one follicle each month. But when you do IVF, they hyperstimulate your ovaries so that you have multiple. They want to get as many follicles and as many eggs as they can, to make as many babies as they can to give you chances of conceiving. So I had 21 follicles, but doing IVF, it also puts you at high risk of what's called ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome. And it's actually life-threatening. It's life-threatening, and it can it puts out all of your hormones, and it makes your like pelvic cavity fill with fluid. It's really painful. So I got a mild version of that. I didn't get it so bad that I had to go to like ICU for it, but they like put you on medications and stuff to try and like level out, like get rid of the excess fluid and all that kind of stuff. And they've got to wait till your hormones come back down, because if they would have he said if they put an embryo in while I'm in that state, it could just make it worse. So I think we waited 3 or 4 months after that, and then we put in 2 embryos, and then I was got pregnant. You find out 10 days after they put them in whether or not you're pregnant or not. But it's so trippy, because when they put them in, you're 4 weeks pregnant. Like, so when they tell you you're pregnant, you're 4 weeks pregnant. It's so weird. Even though you had it put in like the week before. So strange, isn't it? Because they do the dates of this. They do it from the start of your period.
Yeah, so that's like when they say you're pregnant, but you didn't get the pump on until a couple of weeks later, maybe.
Yep. So and so we were pregnant with 2 of them, and then we lost one of them in between 6 and 9 weeks. And then now we have Nalani, and she was
so how does that work? Like, does the bra have to have a bit of a teats into a thing?
Yeah, and it's so like I felt so sorry for them, because they put you into a room, they give you like magazines. There's like, you're not allowed to use you can't wear perfume, like any cologne, you can't wear any moisturizer, you can't like spit on your hand to lubricate it or anything. You can't use dry ones. Use lube. You just gotta go and dry. You gotta go and absolutely dry.
Yeah, but like could he take his phone in there? Like, could you like send them a little video? Like, oh goody.
No, I think he had his phone. I don't know how. Like, there's no way. I just think about all those magazines and all the men that.
Oh, like, nasty! Yeah. Why is this magazine not opening? Why is this stuck?
Imagine. Right.
What about the thing that he had to shoot it into? Was it big, or was it like a
cup, like a wee cup?
Oh,
a wee cup.
Fucking don't miss, cuzzy, don't miss. Hey.
Exactly. I know. And you have to do it at the clinic, because
fuck, that's weird. You gotta walk out there knowing that, and then all the ladies know that you just had a teeth.
Yeah. And because it's only women who work there too, apart from the fertility specialists who are male, but they're not there during the day. It's just all the nurses and all the admin stuff. And they're like, here's your cup, here's your bag, come in the cup, put it in the bag, leave it on the desk.
Yeah, like, because that's just every day for them. They're just like, whatever. Yeah. You're probably thinking in your head like, oh my god, what the fuck? But they're just like, meh, another one, whatever.
Well, see, I wasn't there, so when
did you send them some inspiration, sister? Or?
No. So when you are getting your eggs, when you get your eggs extracted, you're like, it's a surgery, so you're asleep. But at the time, like, they call my husband and they say, like they meet you at the clinic. So where my clinic is 20 minutes away from the hospital that I had my surgery at. So they say to him, like, you need to be here at this time, and then you need to ejaculate into the cup around this time. And because it's got to be the longer you have to do it inside the clinic so that the sperm are as healthy as they can be, and so they don't die on the way to the clinic. So they keep them under certain conditions. So the fresher the sperm, the better the outcome for the embryo.
Yeah, 100. Fucking no. Shout out to the brother, man. Got it done. Got it done, baby.
It's all very complex.
What about this? What about this young breather over here? Is he one of those too, or no? Was that was just a natural one?
Hang out. Oh no! So him. No, he was a surprise. He was an absolute surprise. So when I was pregnant with Nalani, I had yeah, I had hyperemesis, which is morning sickness, but it's
What
like
kind
a
of?
constant
Oh, so
thing.
hold
So
on.
you're
Is that what
vomiting.
morning sickness is called? Hyperemesis.
No, no, hyperemesis is like excessive. It's like all day nausea and
Oh.
vomiting.
Sis, you got all the
So I
sisters,
was,
the sisters, and
I know,
endometriosis. All right, you're right.
bloody, I know.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah,
unfair, right? So bloody
yeah,
unfair.
yeah.
I don't know how that happened to me, but I just got everything. Had like
Mm.
terrible pregnancies, but in saying that, best births ever.
Oh, me.
I had
Yeah.
textbook births. But I
So
found out I was pregnant with him because I had hyperemesis with Nalani because I was vomiting and I was
mm.
sick all the time. But after I had her, my doctor's like you're not going to get pregnant naturally. You probably end up with like you won't get pregnant or you'll have an ectopic pregnancy, which is where the embryo gets stuck in your fallopian tubes.
Oh, yeah, I
And I
heard
was
of that
like,
one.
yeah, okay, cool. So I was like, oh, we don't even need to bother. We don't need to bother with contraception. We'll be fine. And
Mm.
yeah, Nalani was like 14 months old, maybe 16 months old when I got pregnant with him. And the only reason it didn't cross, I was like, oh my God, I've got cancer. There's something wrong. I've got some type of like
Not the
bowel disease
cancer.
or stomach disease. No, because I was vomiting. I
Yeah.
couldn't eat. I was nauseous all the time.
But you
I
weren't
took a
thinking it was
pregnancy.
that cis thing again, eh?
No, no. And then I took a pregnancy test and it was like negative. And so I was like, oh, I'm obviously
Oh,
not pregnant. But I went to the GP and I was like, look, I've taken a pregnancy test. Like, I'm not pregnant, but I'm vomiting. I'm so sick. Like, it feels like hyperemesis when I was pregnant with the last one. And he's like, oh, just check your all your levels and stuff. And then yeah, the next day he's like, yeah, you're very pregnant. My like pregnancy, like what's it called? My pregnancy hormones were in like the tens of thousands.
maybe there was a
So
dud.
usually when
There was a dud bloody pregnancy test. Eh?
no, well, even then when I took another pregnancy test, it was really faint. So
Oh,
yeah, it's strange.
mm.
Even when I was like,
Strange, right?
even when I got pregnant with Milani and I took a pregnancy test, it was
Mm.
again really super faint. You couldn't really tell that was
Oh,
a
true.
positive pregnancy test. So yeah,
So
that was
this was
a
the journey, though,
lovely
Asus.
surprise.
There was the journey from you started writing a blog about this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sorry, we're
So,
segued. This is the ADHD. We've gone. I was like, what are we talking about again?
hey, now all good since I go all over the place too, and I don't have any HD.
I don't
Well,
even know what
maybe
we're
I
talking about.
do. I don't know.
Yeah. Thanks for keeping me on track.
No,
So
all good.
anyway, I started talking about that, and when I was pregnant with Luca, um, like a pregnancy brand approached me to do a photo shoot for them, and so I
Mhm.
did a photo shoot with Tori Dion. She was she's a like Instagram influencer, parenting influencer, and Amy Hembrow. That's Tammy Hembrow's sister. And when I
Don't know.
did, you might not know who they are, but if you're in Australia, everyone knows who they are.
Oh, yeah, I'm in Australia. I'm in Perth. What the hell?
Oh yeah, well you might know Tammy Hembrow. Um, yeah, most people do know who she is. But
Okay.
it doesn't matter if you don't know who she is. But that's where my following started from, was because
Okay.
I did this photo shoot with them, and then obviously I've been tagged in their photo shoot, so people started following me from there, and then those two girls have a lot of other influencer friends that follow them. And so then
Yeah.
Ashley Bynes started following me, and then she shared one of my posts, and then it went
Yeah.
viral. Um, and then that's where I got most of my following from
Oh, okay. Well, have you had any? Have you
Instagram,
had much
and which
drama
I don't think
from all
that.
that?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. This is what we were talking about the other day. So I do get
Okay.
into a little bit of trouble because yeah, I've got ADHD, and so like I'm very black and white, and I think that I also have a little touch of the tism, like autism, because I'm
Autism.
so like I don't know, but I don't know if it's an ADHD thing. I need to talk to my psychiatrist about this. But I'm very black and white, and so the majority of my following are females, but I also have males on there.
Mm-hmm.
And like, okay, this is no offense to like males in general,
Oh,
but
fuck! I'm getting offended already. No, there you go. Go on,
yeah, I know.
sis.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And I always say this to my husband. I
Thank you.
like. I don't have a very high inclination for men. Like there are a lot of like I'm very vocal about this on my Instagram. There are a lot of I've got like a few male friends, and there are a lot of males I do like, but there's also a lot of types of males
And
that
a
I
male
don't like.
husband.
I just don't
Yeah, well,
fuck
you
with
also had pretty shit
males.
experience too, sis. So
Yeah, yeah,
I
absolutely.
wouldn't blame you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But like obviously, yeah, I'm married to a male and he's great. He's like we were great friends before we were
Yeah.
married. But like yeah, so I always say to my husband too, if we were to ever divorce, I'd probably end up with a female. I'd probably be in a relationship with a female.
Yeah.
And he's like aware of that. But yeah, so I get myself into trouble on Instagram because I'm so black and white, and I'm like, well, if I feel like I look good in a photo, I'm going to post it. But like, I
Mm-hmm.
also don't take into consideration my husband's feelings about that, and
Oh,
so I
really?
do get a lot of
Oh,
unwanted
okay.
attention.
I
Yeah. So
see.
like my husband doesn't he never tells me what I can and can't post, but it is offensive to him if I post something that's a little bit too seductive. And like in my brain, I'm just like, I don't think about that. I don't think that they're thirst traps. I just think in my brain like, oh, I look so good in that photo. I'm gonna post that. But I don't do it to try and get male attention at all. Like for if anything, like because I'm like so I love women. If anything, I'd just be doing it for the attention of other women. I like get more
Oh.
gratification from a woman telling me that I'm beautiful than a man. Like,
Let's go.
like,
Fuck, I know.
like, like if you like for example, whatever. If you were to be like, oh, you're so beautiful, I'd be like, thanks. But if a woman was to tell me I'm beautiful, I'd be like, oh,
Fucking easy on that houses. No, it's a joke. Yeah, no,
no,
I
but
get
you know what I
you.
mean?
But
Like,
if a chick told
yeah,
you like, oh, you're the most
it's
gorgeous
done.
girl in the world, fucking,
Yeah,
oh my god,
like that hits me right in my heart, you know.
yeah,
And
just in
so
your
like
heart or
that's
somewhere else. No,
yeah,
no.
all of them, all the places, honestly.
All of them, man. Let's go. Shout out to my brother Cameron,
No.
Kazi. You the man, cuz.
Yeah, so because like I obviously have like a difference in like mentality about it. I'm like, I don't care about men. So that's not the reason why I post it. But like coming from his perspective,
Mhm.
it's disrespectful, which I can see why it is disrespectful. And I don't necessarily interact with males on my page, but I'm also not rude. Um, like I don't ever respond to compliments from males. But if
Mhm.
males are asking me a direct question, then I will answer the question.
Does
But
the brain not like you talking to fellas? Are we allowed to do this?
no, this is fine. No, this is fine. It's the fact
Ah,
when
I'll
they're
come in
like,
peace, cousin Cameron. I'll
yeah,
come in
no,
peace,
no,
my
he knows
brother.
all about this. No, it's not that. This is like making him sound really bad. It's not that. It's like when males have like just been like thirsting, and then they'll ask me a question, and then I answer the question. Or if I like a comment, he doesn't appreciate that.
Oh, so
Yeah,
when you're responding to them after there's already been thirsting, is that what you're talking about?
yeah. So that it's not
Uh,
like if
so
a
you,
male were just to like to message me and ask me like a direct question without any of the thirsting, he doesn't care
yeah,
about that. It's like when he
okay.
knows that there's intentions behind that person, other than the question. Like, and because he's logical like that, where I'm not logical like that.
Mm.
I don't think like that. I'm just like, oh, he's asked me a question. There's nothing bad about
Wait,
that. I'm going to
sis,
answer that.
is that the ADHD things too, or what do you reckon?
Yeah, I think so. Because, like I
Wait,
said,
because
I'm
you
very black and white. I'm
wait,
so
but
black and
on
white.
that thing, right? Because I've
Yeah.
been told before, like just by other people, like, "Oh, you always flirt with people." I'm like, bro, I'm just having a fucking conversation.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I'm not saying about
Yeah.
you, for example, but like just in life, I'm like,
Yeah.
you're not fucking flirting. I'm just like talking, and like if they
Oh,
laugh, like that. Well, I think I'm pretty funny. That's probably why. No, you know what I mean.
mm,
Like I'm not trying to flirt.
absolutely.
Nothing. Just having. I enjoy because like yourself. I grew up a lot of trauma. I speak about it like openly,
Mhm.
like molested, all that kind of stuff. As a lot of our family back home, and a lot of yucky stuff for us. But I just talk about it because
Mm.
I think the more we can be open, those scumbags don't get to hide away, or the stuff that those people who
Absolutely.
do that to children don't get to. Yeah, so like I'm open about
Mm.
that stuff too. Yeah, but bro, but
And
my
it's
being
nice.
cheeky and making people laugh, I think, or not, I know that's like a coping mechanism that I created as a young fella to make me not
Hmm.
angry, and try and cope with my own pain. So
Yeah.
I'll always crack jokes and shit like that, and always like that's just me, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like, so
Yeah.
yeah, when people were like, "Oh, you're flirting with that lady," like I think also people just think that like some males and females can't talk to each other without it being flirting,
Yeah,
like or like something.
absolutely.
Okay, no
Hmm.
rubbish.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm eating while I'm doing this.
But
I'm not
anyway,
meaning to be rude.
on the bro, no, all good. Just go hard. We gotta
My mouth
eat.
gets dry
On,
because of my medications.
oh, true, true.
But
No, but
yeah,
but the bro. So how do you get? Is that what that's what happened the other week, or did you get another
yeah. So that's
thirsty
what
Thursday?
happened. That's what happened the other week, and it like and I was like, oh, like shit, like I'm gonna deactivate my Instagram, like because TikTok differs because I don't interact with people on my TikTok. I just post videos and I respond to comments. I don't. There's like the messaging system is different on TikTok, so there's no like it's not community based like Instagram is. Like yeah, you don't have a really there's people who follow you, but it's not really a community. That's more like for Instagram.
Oh, do you do
In
lives
terms
on
of your
TikTok?
personal. No, I don't because I just can't be bothered, honestly.
Oh yeah, no, I used to live stream harder on TikTok. I don't know if you know much about their like rankings and all that, but I got number one video on the TikTok. I
Oh,
used to
did
be
you?
part of a
Oh,
TikToker.
good.
Yeah, I used to be, but just a streamer. I didn't post content. I've only just
Oh,
started
yeah.
posting content this year when I started this podcast in January. You know,
Yeah,
before it was
sweet.
just I'll just push live and talk shit. That's all. Just push live and talk shit and have a
Actually,
laugh,
I
play
could.
music.
I honestly, I could do that. I honestly could just talk shit all day, but I just because of my ADHD, I would just stay on there for a little bit too long, and then I would neglect everything else I'm
Well,
doing
you know,
mentally.
you know,
So
sis, you know,
yeah, no,
you
I
know,
know
yeah,
that
you know
that's a
yourself.
bad idea. Very bad idea.
Hard. Then you might
But
get a
no, that
you'll get way more thirsties out. I'll tell you,
oh
they'll be right in the
probably
comments while you be live.
yeah.
Then
I mean,
the
like
brother Cameron will be, hey, what's going on here?
yeah. Oh yeah. Like he doesn't necessarily have a problem with the social media. It's more like the way that you interact with people, like the
Yeah.
interactions. So
Do you
yeah,
think?
I
Do you
was
think
respectful of that.
Do you think that's fair though? Sis? Like, because I can sort of understand him then, like, coming from that angle of like,
Look, he didn't tell me to deactivate my account.
no, no,
I
no,
was
no, no,
like,
no, 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 no,
I was like, I
no.
fucking
Just
love
how
him.
you. No, no, no. I'm not telling you should. You're your own person, do whatever. But like, obviously, feeling some type of way about some dudes being thirsty on you, and then you still communicating with them. I guess that could hurt.
Oh yeah.
I could understand. Yeah.
So yeah. So in the moment, like when I'm like just in the moment and like I'm
Yeah.
responding to people, I don't think anything of it. It's not until
Oh yeah.
after. It's not until after. And so yeah, it's like if my husband wants to do that, I would be incredibly offended if he
Okay.
would do that. And so it was
How
just
dare
like
you, Cameron? You little bastard. Hey.
yeah, absolutely. So
Shout out to the brother.
it's like it's yeah, I think he's fair and it's valid to have those feelings about it. Like and like what you've got to remember is like social media, like these people don't matter on social
Yeah,
media.
turn it off. They're
It's not
gone. It don't exist.
absolutely like
Pay your bills.
I'm married. I want to stay married and I want to
Yeah.
like don't get me my husband and I've had problems and like we continue to have like problems like as everyone does. And like there have been instances where I've been incredibly invalidating and vice versa. So I think it just was like making the conscious like being conscious of his feelings. I mean like oh like it's not that important.
It's a journey,
So
though.
I don't
We're learning. We're growing. It's a
oh
journey, life.
absolutely. Like don't get me wrong. This time last year, I'd have been like, well, that's just stupid. Like, I don't know why you feel that way. You know, I
But you've grown
honestly,
now.
yeah, absolutely. I think I've grown a lot in the last year.
Too much.
I think being medicated helps as well because I can actually see where he's coming from without getting offended.
Okay.
Because usually I
Process it a
would
bit
get quite
easier.
offended. Yeah, I'm able to
Mm.
process it so much better. So yeah, he's completely valid in the way that he felt about it. And so I was like, I don't want to
Yeah.
hurt your feelings. I don't want this to be a problem. So I'm just like, I don't need to like, I just will get rid of it for a little bit, like all indefinitely.
Yeah.
So it's not a big deal to me. But yeah, I mean, coming back to what you were saying about the flirting thing,
Yeah.
because I'm so nice to people, and like you said,
Yeah.
like people think it's strange when men and women can have like
Yeah.
cordial platonic like relationships and conversations. But like I think it's a massive red flag if men and women aren't able to do that. If you're not able to have a conversation with the opposite sex without there being any sexual attraction, like that's a massive
Mm.
red flag. It means like you only in my brain, this the way I see it is if you're only able to have those types of conversations with people you're interested in, it means like for one, you don't respect the other gender as a whole and you only respect them for what you can get out of them. So
Mm.
for me, like so my husband's best friend is a female And like, I always see this big
true.
debate.
How does
Yeah,
that work? Like OG
hey,
days, or you already knew it anyway? Eh?
yeah, they grew up together. Like, oh, they were
Hmm.
best friends before I was around. I just know that, like, she's
Did they
married and she's got
spoon
five.
or nah? No spoons.
No, but like, but if they did, like, I would have, like, I wouldn't care. Not care. Would not in the slightest, like,
Oi,
whatever.
people would probably be like, "You're stupid for not caring." Eh? Yeah,
Yeah,
they
no,
would
but
probably
like
think
they're
that.
best
Eh?
mates and they're like brother and sister. And
Yep.
from the outside in, like just looking at like random people, like, oh, why would you let your husband have a female best friend, and vice versa? But like, she's married, she's got 5 kids.
Yep.
They've grown up together. She lived with him and his family at one portion of their life. She's was there before I was. She was first. But like, yeah, they're just like great friends. And like, my husband is so respectful towards women because of the platonic relationships that he has with women.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, because how do you develop that? Eh? If you don't have
Yeah,
those, yeah, no,
exactly.
or some kind of relationship with
How do you,
female outside of being sexual. Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. How do you know how to respect women if you can't have that platonic relationship with them? That's what I was saying about before. Like, if you can only have those conversations with women, like you're pretty much have the mentality of like, I'm like, you see women of for what you can get out of them as opposed to who they are. And so I respect, my husband's got has a lot of female friends,
Yeah.
like from high school, and they're all married. Like, I've got like, I'm not
Hold on,
threatened.
hold on. Just in case. You follow swingers or nah?
No, no,
Oh,
no.
so just no, hey, no
But like, I'm not,
judgments. Just making sure.
yeah,
You
like,
know, like people be like,
no,
oh yeah, you got all these girlfriends,
like,
you're swingers. Shut your mouth. But yeah, okay, see this.
not opposed to it. Like, if it ever happened one
Hey,
day, like,
let's go. Not
whatever.
opposed to it,
Like,
but not at the moment.
no, like, absolutely not. I'm all for sexual exploration, and
Sexpiration. That's it.
yeah, absolutely. And I've spoken about this. Like, I used to have a podcast with one of my friends,
Yep.
and like we used to speak about this quite openly, like all the time. Like, if the situation presented itself, then yeah, sure. Like, if we were all in the mood for it, then sure, yeah. Like, I'm not opposed to it. If like, yeah, I'm all for sexual exploration as long as there's like clear boundaries in place.
Yeah. Well, you know how
Yeah.
you'll buy, sis. You know how you'll buy.
Yeah.
What if the bro was like, "Fuck, I want to pump a dude with you"? Would that be weird?
No. Because okay, this is my mentality. My mentality on sex is that like there is like, so for the way that most men view like male sexual interactions is because of toxic masculinity, but they have no problem viewing females in that same light. So it's
Yeah, that's
normal
why I wanted
for,
to speak
yeah,
on that with you. Like, how did
yeah,
you? Because some people, because I know chicks that would be like, yeah, nah, that's weird, but then they'd happily hook up with a chick too. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
no, like if my husband wanted to do that, then that's all good. Like, that's fine. But no, I
Hey,
have
I'm not
got no
saying you
feeling
do
about that.
either, but like Cameron, hey, do
Oh,
just
absolutely. Like,
oh,
he's never like expressed that he would want to do that, but like, I'm like, I'm fluid to it. I wouldn't mind at all, but that's just like each to their own. I don't have any
yeah,
feelings
I
about that.
So,
Yeah.
I got a couple of quick questions before we do get out of here because I got to bounce to
Mhm.
the next one.
I know,
But
it's like, sorry.
no,
Segue
not even
question.
sorry. I'm enjoying the round. If we had 5 hours to talk, we probably keep going. You know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
it's been enjoyable, and it's also my fault because nature called a bit at the wrong time, and I needed to go. Well, nature calls when it calls, eh? So
That's all
it's
good.
not the wrong time. That is what it is. But if you could eat only one meal
Absolutely,
for
it's
the
fine.
rest of your life, what meal do you choose?
I'd probably just eat fruit, honestly,
Just fruit. What? Any
because
specific fruits?
because
Okay.
no, just different types of fruits because I would honestly get sick of eating the same thing. I don't have a favorite anything because of my ADHD. Like, if I were to eat the same thing
Yeah.
every single
Same.
day, like I prefer not to eat. So at least if it's just fruit, there's like a like different variety of fruit.
Solid. Well, there you go. There's the answer. Superpower wise, if you could choose a superpower, which one do you choose? Why? And maybe even create one.
Superpowers. I would love to know every single language in the world because knowledge is
Oh,
power.
that's a new
And so
one.
if I
That's a
knew
new one.
absolutely,
That's a new one.
yeah, I'd
I
love
like
to.
it.
I'd love to know every single language. Do you know how rich you could get
Even
from
that.
that?
Even the old fucking those
Yeah.
ones there. Speak those ones and
Yeah.
those. Have you heard
Every
those fucking?
every single language.
Wow, that's great stuff. Yeah.
Or it'd be good to like know absolutely everything, like every single bit of knowledge in the world. I'd love that. Or like
So then,
I'd
when
love to
new
have
knowledge is created, you want that one too? It'll just come in your
Oh yeah,
brain.
man. Just all knowledge, everything.
Manifest.
Love it. I'd love to know everything about everything.
Sure. There you go. Give us visualization. What do you hope life looks like right now in this point of time, relative to now? Obviously, ADHD could be anything. Tomorrow could change. What do you want life to look like for yourself? Ashah, Wini, hubby Cameron, and who knows? Maybe you have more kids. I don't know.
No more kids. Definitely no more kids. But like, I just like family wise, I honestly would love to just like have a block of property and just be self-sustainable and just away from society, honestly. That's that. And then career wise, I don't know, but I want to get into education and do clinical education, and I'd love to do a master's in neuroscience, honestly.
Yeah,
I want to learn more about the brain.
Yeah, the brain. Well, you want to know everything too, so that's where to start. That's all up in there. I like it.
I'm interested in the brain and people and like conditions of the brain, and then people's decision making.
Yeah, so, and when you crack that too, sis, come back and we'll do another podcast. You teach us some more stuff, some more osis and all those things.
Oh yeah, all of them.
Yeah. I mean, you'll know them all too by then. Give us any advice for anybody that's been in your situation, whether it's domestic violence and getting out of that situation. You got any, or even just being a mother and having all the issues and navigating that stuff? IVF. Got a piece of advice for anybody in those situations?
Yeah, in the case of DB, go get me a cup and I'll get you some milk. In the case of DB, don't isolate yourself. Make sure you have connections outside. Sorry, it's very loud. No, don't isolate yourself from the outside world, because that does happen, and the perpetrator will isolate you from your family and your friends. So try not to let that happen. And then, honestly, you can't really help someone who's in that situation, because they have to have the epiphany for themselves. They have to realize that themselves before they can remove themselves from it. They've got to, there's nothing you can really do, because they'll just keep, the cycle will keep repeating. But all you can do is offer those people support. In regards to parenting, mate, they're going to be old one day, and they're going to be out of your house. So just take each day as it comes. It's a massive journey, parenting. Again, don't isolate yourself, because that can happen as well, and then you just feel worse about yourself. But they're only little once, and it's very hard. But they'll be out of your house one day, so just try and enjoy it. And then in life in general, my biggest regret in life was rushing through it, as opposed to just loving it for where I was at that point in time. I just wanted to get to the destination without enjoying the journey. So I just my biggest advice is just to not rush through life. Just appreciate where you are and what you're doing, and enjoy it. Because that's my biggest regret. I just wanted to get to the end as fast as possible, and so I didn't enjoy a lot of things as I should have. Yeah,
the journey. Enjoy the journey. Yeah, I like this. Just thank you for those 5,000 pieces of advice. That was beautiful. I loved it. And then thank you. I just want to say, time's the most valuable commodity we have as human beings. The one thing we can never get back. We can always get back things. We can always get back money, but time spent is time lost. So thank you for sharing over an hour of your time, and thank you for waiting for me as well. Apologies on that. But I appreciate you, sister. And hopefully this isn't the last time we sit down and have a cordial or have a yarn. And hopefully people take value from this for years to come. Thank you so much. And much love to the brother Cameron and to all the babies. And everybody in your family, and just keep going.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you so much for watching this full episode of Mind the Mic. It takes a lot of time, energy, and effort to create these episodes. So to know that you've watched and listened to the entire thing means the world to myself and all our hosts. If you could, before you leave, please hit the subscribe button and share this episode out to as many people as possible. It would help us so much. Thank you again to everybody that's still here, still watching. Thank you for all your comments, all your shares, all the DMs. Appreciate you all. Make sure you follow us on every platform. Have an awesome morning. Have an awesome night, depending on where you are in the world. Mind the mic out.
Oi, have you hit the link in bio yet?
Watch full episodes on YouTube or listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all streaming platforms.